Well, of course, I had to take the time to talk about the recent report from Plus 972 and Local Call about the Lavender program, an artificial intelligence-based system which generates kill lists. I've read a lot of very upsetting material throughout this genocide taking place in the Gaza Strip. I've made a lot of videos about them. Though this one stands out as among the most chilling of reports that I have ever read in my entire life. You'll soon see why. The report is valuable in a number of ways, not least of which being its perfect debunking of the Israeli claim that the high number of civilian casualties in its massive bombing of the Gaza Strip is a result of Hamas using them as so-called human shields. I've not taken much time to address the Israeli human shields claim since logically it was so stupid. Even granting, in theory, Hamas shelters under hospitals or refugee camps, and that's why Israel has to bomb them, Israel dropping enough bombs on this tiny enclave more than any bombing campaign of the current century.
Robert Pate is a professor of political science at the University of Chicago. You've studied extensively on the issue of coercive bombing.
I've studied every strategic bombing campaign since World War I. What I can tell you is that Israel's bombing campaign is one of the most intense civilian punishment campaigns in history. We are seeing one of the most intense civilian bombing campaigns in history.
Destroying it worse than World War II Germany obviously renders human shields completely meaningless. This is what I knew before reading the new report from 972 and Local Call. The reality, much to my surprise, is even worse. The article's author, Yuval Abraham, explains how the Israeli Defense Forces felt about 972 and Local Call's reporting. In a statement to 972 and Local Call, the IDF spokesperson claimed in response to this article that Hamas places its operatives and military assets in the heart of the civilian population, systematically uses the civilian population as human shields, and conducts fighting from within civilian structures, including sensitive sites such as hospitals, mosques, schools, and UN facilities. The IDF is bound by and acts according to international law, directing its attacks only at military targets and military operatives. However, in contrast to the Israeli army's official statements, sources explained that a major source for the unprecedented death toll from Israel's current bombardment is the fact that the army has systematically attacked targets in their private homes, alongside their families, in part because it was easier from an intelligence standpoint to mark family houses using automated systems. Aside from revealing the existence of Lavender, 972 and Local Call also unearthed a system Israeli forces used to trace Hamas officials to their private homes. You see, rather than making painstaking decisions about how many civilians to blow up when targeting a Hamas terrorist cowardly shielding himself in a school, the Israeli military has made the decision to go after targets in what can only be described as the most cowardly way possible, in the middle of the night when he's sleeping with his entire family. They call it, "Where's Daddy?" We're not interested in killing Hamas operatives only when they were in a military building or engaged in a military activity, an intelligence officer told 972 and Local Call. On the contrary, the IDF bombed them in homes without hesitation as a first option. It's much easier to bomb a family's home. The system is built to look for them in these situations. Let's say you calculate that there is one Hamas operative plus 10 civilians in the house, A said. Usually these 10 will be women and children. So absurdly, it turns out that most of the people you killed were women and children. The number of targets feverishly generated by officers seeking to pad their kill lists grew to as many as 37,000, people who, in theory, were to be bombed in their private residences, killing many more uninvolved and innocent women and children.